Hi, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Tiny Brains podcast. I'm Kevin Joyce, CEO at Tiny Brains, and with me is Peter Graham, the Brigadier of Brains at Tiny Brains.
Hello all.
So thank you everyone for watching our podcast last week. It was our record amount of views, so we're super happy with that. This podcast was never intended to become some big XR outlet that everybody wants to be a part of or anything. It was something for us to talk to, give back to the industry some perspective and some views from people who are experienced in this field. So we're super happy that a lot of you are paying attention to what our opinions are, and we're going to continue with the biggest news stories from the previous week this week. So we're going to start with OpenAI and AR. What's going on here, Pete? I haven't heard much about this.
Yes. This is one that flew under the radar after there were lots of game announcements last week. But essentially, it was the fact that Caitlin Kalinowski, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, Meta's former head of AR glasses hardware, has joined joined OpenAI, should I say? And she has joined the AI company as the lead robotics and consumer hardware person. In their division. And so it's quite interesting that essentially they're wanting to look at not only robotics but also consumer hardware for their AI, which they're known for ChatGPT and Sam Altman doing all of his prophetic uh, quotes. But having Caitlin on board is quite an interesting turn of events. She's essentially said she'll initially focus on OpenAI's robotics work and partnerships to help bring AI into the physical world and all that sort of jazz. And then she adds a little bit going classic OpenAI to unlock its benefits for humanity. Well, apart from that, it's more the fact that it's consumer hardware, and a lot of it sort of indicates, well, if you're coming into consumer hardware, kind of like Meta as well, and her previous work at Meta, that kind of leads towards AR glasses, doesn't
I was
it?
honestly going to say that for me, the path that OpenAI have taken thus far, very reminiscent of the way that Facebook started in my mind. Um, we are eventually going to see them as more than a ChatGPT company. That the end goal is not a conversational AI, which is what we have now. It's not a chatbot. So yeah, AI and AR, the future is pretty wide open there.
Well, certainly so, especially as over the last couple of months we've had Meta with their Orion AR glasses, and we've had Snap with their new spectacles as well, all of which feature AR and hints at AI. So,
So on the subject of Meta, we got yeah, this one's not great.
well, this leads on from an announcement Meta made during the summer. So they made an announcement about a new accelerator that was going to focus on lifestyle apps.
Hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, thought you were going to refer to Launchpad, which was Oculus Launchpad, which was
No,
more
no,
so.
not Oculus Launchpad. This was a new accelerator they announced during this summer that was focused on lifestyle, i.e., fashion, beauty, music, that sort of stuff. And essentially, they want VR developers, to come in with new ideas so they can kickstart this sort of stuff. A new report by The Information has suggested that, in actual fact, Meta's kind of slashing a lot of its some of its funding for traditional third-party VR devs, i.e., VR games. And this is a report at the end of the day. There's nothing confirmed, but it has cited a couple of different devs, including Atlas V. Atlas V are very well known because they created stuff like the Wallace and Gromit app, and they created the most recent Gundam app, which launched only a couple of months ago. Well, I think it was actually last month. And there was another dev called Monks, which probably a lot of people may have not have heard of. They do a lot of Horizon Worlds content, but essentially, it does seem like they're cutting down on how much they're spending on third-party VR games, which is a little bit of a shame.
So the fact of the matter here is that that VR, or the Quest especially, is established as a gaming platform. Developers will still continue to produce content, gaming content for the platform, with even if we end up with a lot of devs shying away because the funding opportunities aren't there anymore, the overwhelming majority of applications made for the Quest hardware are gaming, and that won't change. So Oculus or Meta now funding different kinds of apps. Perhaps this was inevitable. They want to reach an audience that is more than just gaming, and it is honestly they went really hard positioning the Quest as a gaming platform, and now they've got to right that ship. It needs to be more than just another Xbox, another PlayStation in people's minds. And right now, that's what it is. It's a different way of entertaining yourself with video games.
Doing exactly that, yes. Most of the push with the new Meta Quest 3S and the 3 last year has been gaming and big IPs as well, hasn't it?
So yeah, while I don't think those big IPs are going to disappear, I think we're going to see more and more of them. I do think, as is often the case, it's going to be the indie devs that are going to suffer here. Sorry, indies, we love you. So moving on to more hardware, on the other side of the aisle, we had the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2. This one, I don't know what people were expecting.
The news has been everywhere, so you're quite right. I'm not too sure what people are expecting with the new PS5 Pro, but essentially, yes, it's coming out in the wild now. There's been lots of reports about its technical prowess and everything else. But essentially, where we're concerned is PSVR 2 and what it can do for VR. And at the moment, it's not doing a great deal, and there has literally been only a couple of confirmed games that will utilize PS5 Pro's extra power. The biggest, one of the most, ones that you'll see it visually is the Kayak VR Mirage. It's actually quite a really popular kayaking game. It's very high quality visuals, and it's going to look even better. There are a couple of other games that have been confirmed. You've got Sayub VR, which is an open sandbox, kind of with a Minecraft vibe, and you've also got No Man's Sky as well. So everyone who knows who's No Man's Sky, so they're getting visual upgrades. But yeah, that's it. Essentially, 3 games that have confirmed that.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not surprised by this news, and I'm surprised that other people are surprised by this news. We know that Sony has all but abandoned PSVR 2 at this point. So expectations that it would utilize PS5 Pro in any unique ways, I don't know where those expectations came from, frankly. We love PlayStation VR 2. We think it's a great headset, and it's sad situation that it finds itself in. But yeah, realistically, this is the situation it's in. So if Sony aren't putting weight behind it in terms of software, why would they be putting weight behind it in terms of firmware?
I think people were, well, I say expecting, hoping that if they're spending $700 on a new console, there might be some reason behind spending.
Why would you spend $700 on a new console hoping that something's going to come your way?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so moving on to more positive news. This one is especially positive for me as a massive Metro fan.
Yes, it's simple, isn't it? Metro Awakening launched, and it's had rave reviews across the board. From what I've seen, pretty much rave reviews.
But I haven't played it yet for a very specific reason.
What is that?
Because spiders freak the crap out of me.
Yes, so there are spiders in Metro, but Vertigo Games has confirmed that post-launch there's going to be an arachnophobia mode as well. So it's going to add more spiders to a game that is essentially dark, brooding, and has spiders already.
No, I think you've read this wrong. It's an arachnophobia mode where they remove the spiders.
Oh, is it remove the spiders?
Yeah.
Oh,
So many games do this. There are for traditional gaming, Puzzle Quest 3 is one that I've been enjoying recently, where it replaces the spiders with like slugs or something. I can't remember now. But one that did do it quite early on that actually freaked me out even more was Grounded. And Grounded replaced the spiders with floating blobs that were spider shaped. And it was like, that's still not great. But hopefully this arachnophobia mode will take into account that I cannot stand the idea of a spider jumping at my face in VR, radioactive or not, and remove that and replace it with something a little less spidery, which will make my day.
Okay, so yes, I definitely did read that incorrectly. And
Maybe I
no,
read it
I don't
incorrectly.
want an arachnophobia mode. I like spiders. I find they make things extra scary as they jump at your face. So
Okay, well, one of us is right here, and depending on who it is, I will or will not be enjoying Metro.
I'll be enjoying it anyway.
Alongside Metro, we had a bunch of launches last week, so shout out to Living Room from Fortfish and Vivarium from Double Me. Two very interesting, very different style of MR experiences. So Living Room launched on MetaQuest and Vivarium launched on Pico, so give them a look if you get the chance. And to wrap up this week, we have one of the kind of spiders that I don't mind, actually.
Kind of spiders
Face
that you don't
huggers.
mind. What, aliens?
Yeah,
Alien spiders.
face huggers are cute. That's fine.
Okay,
Now,
facehuggers are fine. Right. Yeah, so Alien Rogue Incursion is due for release on December the 19th for PSVR 2 and Steam, but no longer Quest. Quest has been delayed. Servius have said they want to spend more time on it, and we presume that it's because they need to refine it for some reason. Maybe it's because it's going to be on Quest 2 as well. I think it's on Quest 2, but it's for multiple Quest. No, Quest 2.
I think it's only Quest 3.
No, it's only Quest 3.
So two things scream out to me here. Firstly, it's running on mobile hardware. PlayStation 5, PC VR, generally much higher specs. Optimization doesn't need, as much as you should optimize for those platforms, doesn't need to be quite as fierce as an optimization as you would for the Quest 3. So that might be an issue. Another thing is that we have just had Batman and Metro launch. So maybe give them some breathing space, maybe wait for that big holiday buying rush of new quests out there and be the big game of the early 2025. Who knows? That is
Very, very
entirely
true.
conjecture on my part.
Very true. And you've also got Skydance's Behemoth as well, which everyone's looking forward to. So it was set to be, but it's still set to be a bumper winter season.
Yes, so good luck to everybody who's launching, and good luck to all of you watching this podcast if you've got a launch coming up. And obviously, if you have, feel free to reach out so we can discuss anything about your launch. If you're looking for some advice or if you're looking for some help, please feel free to reach out to Tiny Brains, like and subscribe and all that jazz. And we'll see you next week for some more Skibbity Toilet Sigma Riz.